Jack?
There are many semantic traps in this whole, in this whole business, and I think one of them comes from confusing different levels. I think it's useful to think of at least three levels of the phenomenon. One is the physical, something landed, something off faces, something interfered with the environment in some way, including light, microwaves, and there is a second level, which is what you're showing us, which is a psychological, physiological level. If you will. People have marks, people have burns, they felt heat, they had a sexual experience, they had images in their brains or thoughts in their minds, and so on. And that calls for a different set of tools and a different set of semantics. And then the question you're asking now is the social question. What does it mean? And at that level, it really doesn't matter whether or not there are flying saucers around. And if you can get enough people to believe that there are, which is something that industrialists or people could do, whether or not there are UFOs, then you're going to get certain impacts. Last year, 53 people committed suicide in Switzerland and Canada, members of the cult of the Solar Temple. Something that has not been mentioned in the American class is that the top level of initiation of the cult was meeting extraterrestrials. The leaders of the group had bought machines producing holograms that created that experience. And clearly to these people, who are not lower level people, these were people from a fairly high strata, social strata. This was real. I mean, this was real enough that they went through the whole experience.
Has this been written up? I mean, can we get a hold of it?
It's been written up in a French magazine that did a special investigation of that, but I don't think the Swiss police is talking too much about that aspect of it. They found, if you remember, they blew up the houses. Some of the detonators did not work. And in the ritual chamber of one of the houses, they found the hologram sheet. They cost about $100,000. So that addresses the question of reality. What is real and where can technology today create the impression of reality? We're developing virtual realities here.
This relates to the question, if in fact, whatever this intelligence is, that's my third question, but let's say it has the capacity to grade.
The order was mystical and elitist. They claimed to be the heirs of the medieval Knights Templar, Christian warriors who guarded the Holy Grail. They also believed in reincarnation. Obsessed with secrecy, they blurred their faces in this video they made. It shows the start of an initiation ceremony. The order attracted many successful upper-middle-class people, disillusioned with conventional churches, yet hungry for spiritual experiences. At its height, it boasted over 1,000 members in Canada, France, and Switzerland. One of the leaders, Joe DeMambro, was a businessman. The other, Luc Jure, a doctor. One initiate was a Canadian insurance salesman, Herman Delorme.
And you would go through this ritual where you would be given a cross, you would be sworn in as a member, and you would also swear not to reveal any of the going-ons inside this group, because everything was kept extremely secretive. There was always what we'd call a guard at the door to make sure that when the time of the ritual actually it was time to start, nobody would interfere, nobody would come in.
Both leaders, DeMambro and Jure, were skilled manipulators who understood their followers' craving for spiritual secrets. Recruits were often told they were reincarnations of famous religious and historical figures.
It flatters your ego to be part of a group that designs itself as an elite, that are the chosen ones, How can you not feel good about it? I actually believed that I was superior to most other people on this planet, that I had been chosen. And I would start considering other people as being less than what I was, not aware, not awake, having no idea of what life was really all about. So there was no other option for me than to stay within the group, because therefore that's where my salvation was.
The Order's leaders, Joe DeMambro and Luc Jouret, carefully designed such ceremonies to engender a sense of mystery and of being in touch with the eternal.
He would say to us, "Do you realize that we are the only people on the planet to be seeing these things? That throughout history there have been great souls, great saints, and they have never had a sign. And we have flashes, signs. We have the blood of Christ. We have masters who materialize in front of our very eyes, and Excalibur, and we have the menorah, the seven-branched candelabra which belonged in the Ark of the Covenant. One day, the Holy Grail, the very Holy Grail the Knights of the Round Table had sought after, appeared in the Ark of the Covenant. It had a shining quality."
Didn't you have any doubts?
No, we fell to our knees with more than joy to see the Holy Grail.
There were serious problems by early 1993. The Order was suffering from internal squabbles. DeMambro was quizzed on what he had done with the large sums of money donated by members. But far more significant, the Order's doctrines were being questioned. Thierry and some others discovered the apparitions of spiritual masters were just clever illusions created by lighting tricks and holograms.
Everything that I had wondered about for years but suppressed saying, I didn't want to believe it. And when I found out it was all false, it all came back up like a bubble to the surface of water. I wanted to kill myself. I really did want to kill myself. I just couldn't bear it anymore.
DeMambro's reaction was characteristically ingenious. To keep the rebels on board, he revealed that they were in fact reincarnations of great saints.
He put me back in a context that in many ways I didn't want to leave. I had worked 14 years in the group, believing in everything I was told. Now I discovered it was all false. But then Joe made me live through extraordinary experiences. Now I was told I was the vehicle for another reincarnation, that I was Saint Bernard of Clairvaux.
I would have become involved with just about anything to stay with Dr. Jouret, and I felt that if I was able to get closer to him, or at least to stay within the group, that at some point I would probably gain more knowledge. I would probably have access to revelations, to wonderful things, and even maybe at one point to be in contact with either entities or extraterrestrials or whatever. That's the impression that I got.
And you wanted that?
Oh yes, I wanted that.